Alright, thank you very much for clicking on the video. This is Gulpain, back again with a quick PSP review. And this time I'm going to look at Driver 76. So this was actually one of the first PSP games that I ever bought. Because, well, it was only like, I think it was like £2. So that's the reason I bought it. But I quite liked the old Driver games for the PS1. And I haven't seen a Driver game in years. I think it was like the main like franchise competition for Grand Theft Auto, but then Grand Theft Auto just blew up, and then Driver was sort of like a casualty of Grand Theft Auto's success. I think they made a couple of really bad games as well, like Driver Parallel Lines, and I don't think Driver 3 was any good as well, but regardless, this one is pretty good. This is basically, I don't know which came first, Grand Theft Auto or Driver, but this is a Grand Theft Auto clone. It's like almost identical to Grand Theft Auto. Well, not identical, it's very similar. This one is set in the 70s. It has a really cool sort of comic book aesthetic. When they're telling you the story about the main character, they're basically like using a comic book, which is really good. And it's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto light, I'd say this is. There are some cars in it, but they're not really very recognizable. They're just like random American cars or random shapes of cars. And you can get out of the car, and you can jump in, obviously, like steal other cars and stuff like that. So it's very, very similar. You can pick up weapons and all, and then you can get arrested and caught by the police and busted and all that as well. So very similar to Grand Theft Auto. Even like the map system, where you have like the objective on the map and you just drive towards the objective, lose the police officers, etc., all that, or drive to a specific location, pick someone up, drive them somewhere else. Very, very similar to, well, old-fashioned Grand Theft Auto, not new Grand Theft Auto, because those games are in the stratosphere in comparison to these older ones. So this one, I really liked it because I do like driving games, but not, like, I like a driving game where there's a story in it, and this one has quite an entertaining story. It's set in I think it's the 80s actually. This one is set in, and it's got, obviously I'll have to turn off the music here because it's got that copyrighted music. I'll be sent to YouTube jail if I leave the music on this, but or whatever you call it. I'll just get a strike or something. But yeah, pretty good. I would totally recommend this game actually. Just for the PSP, the graphics are really good. I've played some of the handheld driving games, and the graphics are just like abysmal. Like, you can't see what's going on at all. But this one, the PSP, whatever the PSP type screen is, it just looks fantastic. The sound in this, I must say, the sound in this is excellent, although I can't put the sound on here because of obvious reasons, but it does have some, that's one of the advantages of the Driver games and Grand Theft Auto to a certain extent as well, as they do have like really good soundtracks, and the comparison to Grand Theft Auto is apparent, but I'll try not to compare it anymore. The comic book aesthetic is good. The graphics in game are good as well, but also the physics are quite good. It seems that the physics are good anyway, as regards driving the car and crashing and all that. Obviously, like, driving into a lamppost will just kind of knock over the lamppost instead of totally destroying your car. But in general, they don't seem too bad in comparison to other games as well, like where the physics just don't make any sense at all. But this one seems pretty okay. The gameplay is good as well. There's a mix between like different mission types, so it doesn't really get sort of boring, and the story sort of keeps you going as well, because the entertaining sort of 1970s 80s sort of ish story is pretty good. As I said, I do like driving games, but I don't like the ones that don't have stories. So just like, having said that, I just recently played Formula 1 2021, and the story in that is horrific. It's so fake and plastic, it's unbelievable. At least this one, there's a bit of character to the characters, or they're a little bit developed anyway. So that's just a quick look at Driver 76. Well, it's in the 70s obviously because it's Driver 76 for the PSP. So if you've played this game, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Adios. Thanks for watching.
All I did was fix cars and shoot pool down at Elmo's with Slink.
I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Then I met Chen Chi, and everything changed.
It's Ray, isn't it? Sure, I remember those brown eyes.
Trouble.